This is the Aldi Kitchen Living brand Countertop ice machine. You can find ice machines that are very similar to this. They all operate on the same principle and mostly in the same way. Some have slightly larger capacities than others. They're mostly one and the same, so I'm going to show you how this one works so you can make a decision as far as whether or not you'd want to get one of these. I'll show you the control panel very quickly. There's a light for add water, a light for ice full. The S and L are for small and large size ice cubes. I just leave it set on large. Select will allow you to select between the two, and the power, when it flashes like that, means it's kind of in standby. When there's either an add water or ice fill error light, those will flash to alert you, and they are auto reset, which means that you don't have to do anything but add water if that's the light that's on, or empty the ice if that's the one that's on, and the machine will automatically continue. Now the way it basically works here, if you lift the cover up, down in here under the basket is the well where you would fill the water up to. There's a line right there. It sucks water through that grate, and that hole there is actually a drain, which I'll show you in a moment. The drain is under here, under the front of the machine. You can see that white thing there. It's like a rubbery thing, out of like a beach ball kind of thing. You just pull it out and it'll drain. So obviously you'd pull this out further from the counter and hold a pitcher under it or something like that. And the way it works is in the back there, this is a little shovel that dumps the ice into the basket in the front here. And behind that is a little bucket. And this silver metal thing has 9 protrusions. And that gets really cold and the ice forms around those. And then it is released down into here. This shovel-looking thing moves forward and dumps it in the tray, and then the cycle repeats. And it pumps the water up in there. So to get started here, all you have to do is pour water up to the fill line there. So I have some water here. You just pour it right in. I found you don't have to be too critical. It can be a little above it, a little below it. It really doesn't care. It really doesn't matter. You don't want water coming into the basket because then the ice will never stay. And pretty much after that, all you're going to do is just hit the power button there, and you get to watch what happens. It turns on, the compressor starts up. You can see how that shovel and bucket move. You're hearing the pump now. And it's going to fill and overflow the basket back there. And you can see it overflows now. Now that just goes back into the water down there. And now all you do is wait. And this metal thing back there is going to get very, very cold. And after about 7 minutes or so, it will release the ice, and I will come back when it does that. Okay, I'm just giving you a quick update. The noise in the background is my dishwasher, but if you look here, you can see that that shiny thing is frosted over. And if you look very carefully at the water, there are a couple indentations there. Now when I shine some light on it, you can see those are tiny ice cubes that are forming around the tips of those. And that's going to continue to do so and grow in size until the machine has decided that they're frozen enough, at which point it will release them, dump them out, and ultimately into the tray. Sometimes they don't all fall off, but they'll be just refrozen in the next cycle. They get dumped in there, and the bin automatically refills with water. It will overflow itself once again. Now, of course, a lot of you are going to look at these and tell me, that isn't an ice cube. What am I going to do with that? That's going to melt immediately when I put it in my drink. Well, you're partially right. Yes, it will, but that also increases the amount of cubes that you'll get to put in your drink, which will increase the surface area, thereby cooling it better. And number two, they grow a lot larger than that. The reason why these are so small is it even says in the book that the first 2 or 3 goes, the ice cubes are not going to be very well formed and are going to be kind of watery in that. Now what happens is they sit in the tray here and will drip back in as they melt and ultimately be recycled into more ice cubes. So it is theoretically an ongoing process if you don't touch it. Even if the ice fills up past the sensor here, eventually that'll melt down. The machine will automatically restart, make more ice, and just keep going like that. Now what I've been doing is collecting the ice in like a Ziploc freezer bag in the freezer upstairs, and once I get that, I transfer it into a paper bag, and these are the kind of size ice cubes you will ultimately be getting out of them. Like that. Much thicker and much larger than the first go, as you can see. Still a lot smaller than the ice cube tray in your freezer, but at least gives you an idea that they do grow much larger than that. And certainly produces a bountiful plenty of ice. I have 4 big paper bags filled with ice cubes, ready for the party I'm going to be having. There's more, and there's a couple more there. So this will make ice rather quickly. Now again, it may sound like it takes a long time here at about $7 a throw just to get 8 or 9 ice cubes. But you can't put water in your regular freezer and expect to have ice in 7 minutes either. So it will take some time. But this is an ongoing process, so you get another 8 or 9 cubes each time, every approximately 7 minutes or so. Before you know it, within a couple of hours, this thing is overflowing. And typically about 2 quarts of water will give you almost a full paper bag of ice. For those of you wondering how does storing ice in a paper bag work, well, the reason you don't really want to store it in the Ziploc bag is because that retains the moisture and all the ice cubes stick together. The paper bag helps to act as a desiccant to remove excess water from the outside, keeping the ice dry, and therefore it doesn't stick together. So always store your ice in a paper bag in the freezer, and it won't stick together. Well, there's one of the original cubes, and then you can see the next batch were a lot larger. And back in here, everything is freezing up very nicely, and it's going to dump another load of cubes pretty soon. And there is more ice yet again, and this cycle will simply repeat on and on. And for anybody who wants to see the information panel on the back here, that's all the information right there. This also came with this little retarded scoop, which really doesn't do any good, because as soon as you go in there digging for ice and try to flip it up, all the ice slips out of it. So don't worry about the scoop, just grab it with your hands, it's a lot easier. And that's it. That is the Aldi Kitchen Living Brand Countertop Ice Machine. Like I said, you can't expect ice immediately, but again, you couldn't get that out of your regular freezer either. So if you're patient with it and just check on it periodically, you will be amazed at how much ice this will actually produce for you. I think it said it'll produce up to 23 pounds a day. And that's a considerable amount of ice. That's like those 5-pound bags at the store. You can get almost 5 of those in one day for a lot less money. Not counting the price of the machine, of course. I haven't played with the small ice cube setting because these large ones are small enough. I expect it would make them sooner and dump them in the basket sooner. That may be better for drinks, especially if you like more ice in your drink to cool them better. But either way, it certainly does its job. These can be had depending on where you go and what brand and things like that for around $100 to $150. This one, like I said, I got at Aldi and it was $100, and it's a little weird to go into a grocery store and drop $100 on a stupid appliance that you'd never expect to buy. But I had been looking at them a long time ago and never decided to buy, and I saw it and it was kind of an impulse. And I've had a lot of other Kitchen Living brand products, such as the breakfast sandwich maker and a few others as well that have been very good. So this has been the Aldi Kitchen Living brand countertop ice machine. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.